Welcome back into the ASUG News Studio. My name is Tom Whalegum, co-editorial director of ASUGnews.com. Well, Nic Smith is back in the house for another demo as we did last year. Welcome again.
Thank you.
He's the mobile BI guy for SAP.
It's always good to be back.
And his Twitter handle is Nick Fish. Ask him at the
Nick
party
Fish, hit me
tonight
up.
why he's Nick Fish. But anyway, so we're going to do some demos. And let's talk about what's hot, what you guys are seeing, and then we'll dive into some demos.
A lot of exciting stuff going on around mobility and BI. It's everywhere. Mobile BI is literally everywhere at this show. So, I mean, we're showing all kinds of interesting, new, innovative stuff, and that's what customers are really interested in seeing. So, let's jump in.
Sure.
You know, here's a mobile BI, and all these apps are out there and available on iTunes, so you can go and grab them. Mobile BI is SAP Business Objects Mobile. Just go up into the App Store. And there's actually sample data and reports that you can play with, that you can mess around with and try out for yourself. So let's take a look at one of those and what that actually looks like.
Is this the Spice Company example again?
No, this is
no spice?
no spices.
Right.
This is actually banking. So
okay.
you know, a bank manager dashboard, and this is a web intelligence report. Doesn't look anything like a Webby report, but any of these visuals I can interact with. I can jump over into different sections within my report, navigate through, and really engage with the data. And that's what this new form factor, what mobility is really all about, is getting information into the hands of those mobile workers in a way that they can do something with it. So, for instance,
because I'm just not to interrupt, but like, you know, it's cool. I know you guys have thought a lot about usability because you guys get up on stage and build all these wonderful things, and it's cool to make sure that those users can actually use that and actually know what to do with it. You thought about that?
Have meaning and how they're using it, and connect it back to something so they can go and take a next step action and actually act on the decisions and look at those analytics and see what they're uncovering in their own business scenarios. And so, for instance, one of the scenarios we can do is, say there's some interesting financial information here that I'm looking into, and I'm seeing what's going on with my numbers. I can actually go in here and annotate this view, so I can lock the screen, hit my little cursor here, and say, hey, what is going on over here in Q2? There's some problems with the numbers. And then the other thing I can do is I could crop that down, so another nice little feature we've added with some annotations. Say there's some data in here that's maybe some sensitive data. You know, I'm going to send it around to a bunch of us, but some sensitive stuff, I could blur that out. So I can create my own analytic, annotated view, and then I could share that. And so we can connect up to SAP StreamWork, our collaboration tool, and I could invite all you guys to come in, and we can have a discussion while we're all operating in the different parts of the world, around the world, with this analytic, and maybe come together with some insights. So bringing in a collaborative discussion around these analytics. So
and you're all seeing the same set of data, right? There's no spreadsheets going around wondering whose version is right.
Yeah, and speaking of the data, let's look at actually how you get in there and connect to this stuff. So let me go back and go over to my connections, top right-hand corner here. So I have a bunch of demo connections. I roll around and do a bunch of these mobile BI demos.
Sure.
I'm the mobile BI guy. Let's look at one of these connections. So let me pop up my developer connection, just show you what's going on behind the scenes here. So right now, all of those views that we just looked at, all of that Webby report, we actually looked at in an offline mode. But I could connect up to my server, and I've got my server information here, and it's really that simple of connecting to BOE, and then on the back end, tagging your BI content, your web intelligence reports or your Crystal reports into a mobile category, and that's how they get extended out to the device. It's quite simple to do.
What's got to be running in terms of the business object software in the background?
BOE, yeah, business objects, enterprise, and then there's a mobile server component involved that gets you outside the firewall as well. And there's lots of different ways that you can set up your server connections. Let's actually connect to that now. So we've got a green light, we're connected. These are my latest reports that I viewed. I take one step back, I can see all my personal reports or my corporate reports. I can even do a quick search. So I have a whole bunch of reports on this server. Let's say I just wanted to take a look at those sales reports. I could do it from here and then jump into the report view that I want to look at. Let's do one of those. So another cool feature is integrating mapping capabilities. And so this is a Webby report that has Google Maps integration. So I could zoom in and have data overlaid on top of a map view and see different data points on that map view, or switch to a part of that report where I've got kind of a combined map view and an analytic that I can play with.
Wow. Is this all customizable? I mean, how much can people actually mess around with it?
Great question. So customizable, and the customization comes into play when you're building out and designing that core BI content. One of the places that we want to take this mobile BI app is to Like, allow customers to extend it themselves. Open up a SDK for mobile BI so that they can play with different components and take components of this into other custom use case scenarios and other apps that they might have.
Okay.
Let's show one more. I'll show one example of a custom scenario, but let's actually look at Explorer first.
Okay.
So I'll jump out of Mobi and go to the other app, and actually Explorer is our most downloaded app. It's the most downloaded app at SAP, and one of the most downloaded apps on the market, one of the top business apps, and people love Explorer, and Explorer has just gotten even better with the latest release of BI4. And so what I have here is exploration views, which is one of the tools within the BI suite. You can create Explorer dashboards, almost, if you will, of views of information. So let me double tap and open one of these up.
Explorer dashboards.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's almost, in a way, these are visualizations that I can play with and navigate through. I can swipe through these visualizations and explore and ask questions of the data. So Explorer is really all about end-user search and data exploration to uncover answers within your information. And this is all actually running on HANA. So this is a HANA real-time mobile analytics demo. Yeah.
This right here.
Absolutely,
we are on
baby.
HANA.
We're running on
all
HANA.
Right, all right.
Yeah. So again, I could start with a quick search, and I could explore this data to my heart's content. One of the challenges with Explorer is there's so much rich functionality here. It's almost a little bit daunting, a little bit scary of how much information you can actually navigate, surf through, and begin to ask questions about. But it's a very powerful tool, and we love to get it in the hands of our customers.
Now, I had someone yesterday talking about favorite topic of SAP, Desky, and having actually getting people to retire that. So people love their reports. Getting them on this device, I mean, there's going to be a learning curve or an adoption curve. You and I look at this, and if we're familiar with the iPad, it's a little bit easier. But for a lot of people inside companies, they're not going to get rid of their desktop so quick. They're not getting rid of the old reports for this. How do you guys get them to start thinking about that change and get them there?
Well, I tell you, I've got a great story there. So, with the iPad, I think it's super easy. I have an 86-year-old grandmother, and she came over for Thanksgiving dinner, and she sat down. We gave her the iPad, and then within a matter of seconds, she had Solitaire up and running, and she was away without asking any questions, not seeing the device before. So I think it speaks to the nature of this technology being super easy and super simple to be able to use. Now, getting up and running is easy as well. So getting the apps, as I mentioned, is free. You can just go out there in the App Store and start to play with these things, and you'll soon see how easy they are to operate and manipulate and start playing with your data.
Did you give her an Explorer to play around with?
Grandma, I gave her a little. I gave my grandma a little demo of Explorer, and she loved it. She loved it.
She was doing all kinds of queries about
she
recipes
was,
and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, but it really comes down to getting started, taking a look at what types of data that you have within your organization. If you have Explorer going, if you got Webby or Crystal Reports, and how you want to get those out to those mobile workers. The other thing I didn't mention is mobile BI and aspects of our BI suite are available on a whole bunch of devices. So it's not just the iOS, iPad, and iPhone devices. It's the Androids, the Blackberries, all the other smartphones that are out in the market. We've got apps for those as well.
That's what I've heard too. I'm sure you guys hear that. One of the maybe, I don't know if it's a complaint, but question is, it seems like you guys are very iOS specific. Are you thinking about Android and others?
Yeah,
as you go
definitely
forward?
from a tablet perspective, when we look out there at the business world, the iPad rules all. It's everywhere. But we're looking at the other smartphones and paying close attention to what Microsoft is doing and to what is going on in the Android market with some of the smartphones there. And so really we have to stay closely connected with that device ubisphere that's out there and follow it very closely. Let me show you one more example. Let's do one more demo, because I mentioned sort of that industry use case specific. And this is actually one of the ones they showed in this morning's keynote, so I'll give you a little bit more flavor in here. This is one of the art of the possible demo scenarios where this is the hydro plant of the future, where we can start with a map view, zoom in, take a look at a particular hydro plant. Let me drill into that there.
Is this Canada?
This is in Canada, yeah, the East Coast. This is East Coast of Canada.
I know you're a West Coast guy.
I'm a West Coast guy, but yeah, still Canada nonetheless. So now I'm within one of my hydro plants. I can take a look at a visualization of a particular part within that plant. And so this is actually integrating some of the right hemisphere data visualization, extreme visualizations that company bought. There was an acquisition that happened a few months ago. But taking analytics and overlaying that on top. So I might want to look at this particular part. What's going on with the oil pressure? Is there something going on within my manufacturing plant that I might need to be aware of? let's go back. And the other thing I can do, and this is more of that art of the possible, is, I'm actually a plant manager, and I have to walk around that hydro plant and take a look at maybe one of the devices or one of the power stations and hover over that and get details of what's going on with that particular part of the power station. So bringing in that real Tom Cruise augmented reality minority report kind of view of the world and having analytics come into that use case scenario. So we're going to see more and more of those industry and line of business specific examples and work on getting our analytic capabilities embedded within those on a mobile device.
So do they need maybe I asked you this again, but I just want to double check. To get all these cool stuff, we've got a lot of members still on 3.x, a lot of not, upgraded maybe to some of the newer things. What do they need to be able to do this?
Yeah, so to do the mobile BI, to simply get your BI content out onto a mobile device, you just need a device, and you need some of the tools to develop out whatever it is, a Crystal report, a WebIntelligence report, Explorer. So all of the tools across the BI portfolio, across the BI suite, are going mobile in some way, shape, or form. One of the other ones that we're talking a lot about at this conference is Excelsius, now known as dashboards. Right. So coming later this year will be a version of dashboards, which will be able to extend to the iPad. One of the challenges we had in the past, because it plays in Flash, it doesn't play nicely, it doesn't play at all on an iOS device. So look for that coming later this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
HTML5 news, anything there you want to talk about?
Yeah, and that's really the HTML5 news. And so you'll start to begin to see a lot of the aspects across our BI portfolio extend out to be HTML5 friendly and compatible, so it'll play on any device.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nic, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Always fun.
Stopping by.
Always good to hang.
For more interviews, go to asugonline.com as well as our YouTube page, which is ASUG TV. And thank you very much for watching.